Hello my little flowers. It is night number 3 of Halloween Horror Nights 2024. We have 2 more houses to get through. We take a little bit more of a deep dive into this year's tribute store, a couple of the scare zones, and so much more. So with all that being said, let's go. Mike the Bee, the music. So we decided to start our night off with a bang, and we visited the Transformers Fanta Bar located in the extended queue of the Transformers attraction. It's actually more closer to the Minion Cafe, kind of where that corner meets over in the New York area. This is where you can find assorted adult beverages to kind of enhance your experience during your evening at Halloween Horror Nights. My partner did get a drink called the Creepy Cola. It's got Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 whiskey, Coca-Cola Classic, black cherry puree, stone fruit syrup, and gummy creepy crawlers. He did go for the souvenir cup. It lights up. It's a fun little souvenir. Also, you get a slight discount if you keep this cup and go back for more adult beverages. So every single year there's a tribute store associated with Halloween Horror Nights, and this year is no different. We wanted to take a little bit of a more deeper dive into this year's tribute store. It seems to be confusing some people, and I understand why. So the facade of the tribute store is a storage container. That's how you enter, but it connects to the Tourture Faire scare zone. What I've been told, I know I've said it before, I'm going to say it again and again and again, Tourture Faire was not supposed to be the scare zone for the New York section from what I've heard. I don't know what it was supposed to be based on the container and then the contents within the tribute store. I'm assuming kind of like an apocalyptic city in ruin and distress with these kind of creatures that kind of are basically hunting you. Basically that's kind of what the tribute store is, but we do have a character this year who has made appearances in other Halloween Horror Nights. If you've been following along and paying attention to the various years, whether you've gone yourself, watched videos, etc., etc. The tribute store kind of icon creature this year is Batilda. So over in the Sahara Traders, which is the exit to the Revenge of the Mummy attraction, they kind of teased a little bits to what was coming, not necessarily in the tribute store, so to speak, but the new exhibit to the museum. I didn't really get into all that. Some other vloggers and people have, so you can definitely check out their stuff. I may get into a more deeper dive of just the tribute store at a later time, but for right now I just want to kind of hit the highlights for you to hopefully give you a bit more of a background story, so if you do visit the tribute store or have already, you have a better idea of what's going on. So let's learn about our character, Batilda. So Batilda was a bat, stilt walker, scare actor that first appeared as a scare actor as one of the main bat creatures in the Grown Evil scare zone during Halloween Horror Nights 21. 4 years later, she was brought back in the Evil's Root scare zone during Halloween Horror Nights 25. She would return and be featured in the Lights Camera Action Eddie's Revenge scare zone during Halloween Horror Nights 30. She would return as one of the monsters that broke out of the crates and terrorized a warehouse in Shipyard 32, Horror Nights Unhinged, which was a scare zone during Halloween Horror Nights 32, given the name by fans as Patricia. She would return during Halloween Horror Nights 33 and be featured as the central antagonist in the Halloween Horror Nights Tribute Store of 2024 and named as Batilda. She was also featured in some of the merchandise for Studio Screamers and her own poster and t-shirt design created by Chris Gardner. So that gives you the backstory of Batilda, who, aka Patricia, depending on who you are, if you've been in the Halloween Horror Nights kind of fandom over the years. So the official name for her via Halloween Horror Nights is Batilda. So the description for the actual tribute store is: step into a dystopian city where an ancient evil is wreaking havoc at this highly themed retail space. Guests will venture through a variety of haunted urban themed locations, from an abandoned warehouse to a creepy subway station and beyond, while also a serial killer on the loose and stalking them until they come face to face with the killer in the end. So like I said, there's all kinds of little Easter eggs and just little things to find throughout the tribute store, as there has been in the past. But if you're looking for the story to the tribute store, you need to look for the QR codes. There are two different types of QR codes. There's the one that's a basic poster, and this is for filters you can use to take pictures of yourself while you're at the event. The other QR codes, you will usually see like a book, and there'll be a QR code either on the book or near it, and those are going to be journal entries. Now these journal entries expand the story of this artifact that kind of got delivered to the Sahara traders, the museum, and it kind of started this whole like thing of like these plants started growing, and then the idol that was delivered disappeared. Well, the idol, of course, is Batilda. And so as you're going through the tribute store, you'll see there's, you know, all these things that kind of allude to people are trying to like arm themselves. You can buy, you know, things that may help you ward off whatever this monster is that's stalking people, hunting people, and killing people. There's signs, there's all kinds of little Easter eggs all throughout. But one of the things I did want to point out, so one of the Easter eggs to look for, they always seem to hide a peacock in the tribute store. The peacock, of course, represents NBC Universal. I did find that, and it's something you can look for. There's a bunch, there's just so many of other Easter eggs. We'll have to do like a whole just video on the tribute store, the Easter eggs, the deep dive, the whole thing. As we were walking through and we're trying to find things and figure things out, we did get stopped by a member of the Universal team and did a little interview with us that was for internal uses only. I'm not really going to share the whole thing of what we talked about because that's for them and information for them, but it did kind of make me think about the tribute stores in general. So there's basically 4 different tribute stores throughout the year, and if you've been to any of these tribute stores, you'll know how amazing and detailed they are. There's usually a storyline that goes along with the tribute store. There's a bunch of Easter eggs to find throughout the tribute stores. It's just a really fun, immersive shopping experience. I have not experienced this anywhere else that I've ever been. So I'm not to say that there isn't something like this anywhere else, but I don't know of anything like this that's done anywhere else in any other location. Thank you, Universal, for putting the time, the effort, and the money into this awesome experience. I hope they continue to do these tribute stores because I personally definitely look forward to each and every single one of them. It's a completely different, just kind of fun shopping experience to have, especially when you're there at a theme park or there for a special event. So if you haven't been to the tribute store, check it out, buy some merchandise, and hopefully they'll just continue with these amazing experiences in the future. Alright guys, so it's the 3rd night for us here at Halloween Horror Nights. So, like the other videos, we're going to go through the 2 houses we got to visit this evening. The first one we're going to talk about is Triplets of Terror. You're invited to the Barmy Triplets birthday celebration, but their kind of party involves recreating the murders of their entire family. So I thought it was okay. There was a lot of gore. There was a lot of gore.
A lot of gore.
In this house. I get it. It's the triplets. They're kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They're killing everybody, reliving their birthday. I get it. I get the story. It was a lot of gore. And like, I don't really have a problem with gore, but this, I feel like, was just way too much.
A little bit. And then another thing Mike and I talked about today, because I asked him, we're going to go over it in the next critique of a house, is it feels like we're being pushed through the houses a little bit too quick. Like we're running through them. So, you know, yeah, there was a lot of gore. I just couldn't keep up with this one. Like, you know, I saw 3 different rooms that had 3 birthday cakes in it. So you know that they're triplets triplets. They were born on the same day, and it looked like maybe the story was they killed their family on their birthday, but we just went through the house so fast that you couldn't really follow. I mean, I couldn't follow the storyline, so I just kind of guessed a little bit. I think I guessed right. Would I guess right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I mean, that's the premise of the house.
Okay.
And I gave the description before this critique. So yeah, it's the triplets, and on one of their birthdays, they just decided to kill everybody. And so they're kind of doing like a Groundhog Day, where every birthday since that first one, they just repeat and keep killing people, like reenacting their birthday where they killed their family. But of course, after that, obviously it's not their family, they're dead. So these are just like random people. I'm assuming they kidnapped. Yeah, like, so if you don't read the description, it's not entirely clear. There's a birthday party going on, that's very obvious. And then just crazy people with like hatchets and stuff. So if you didn't read the description,
And I didn't.
then yeah, you'll be a little lost. And yeah, just a lot of gore, a lot of killing.
Yeah.
So after we went through our first house of the evening, we decided to get some food. So on our way to get some food, we decided we were going to take our time and really deep dive into some of the scare zones. So really check out the scare actors, the costumes, what's going on. So the first one was the Blumhouse scare zone. This scare zone is kind of a love letter to the fans of Blumhouse franchise. The movies they put out so far, some of the bigger ones like Megan, Freaky, Black Phone, The Purge. We kind of just took our time. We had to kind of like remind ourselves of where some of these characters came from.
God, they look familiar. What are they from?
She's from The Purge.
The Purge?
He's from The Black Phone.
Yes.
I think that's The Purge.
That's what? The Purge. The Purge, okay. Yeah. I'm getting my movies mixed up. I know. That's what happens with age.
I did also notice that in the Blumhouse scare zone, although they do represent these other movies, there's a lot of The Purge that is represented in this scare zone. Not to say that's a bad thing. I have seen some of the Purge movies. I haven't seen all of them. It's just funny to me because it's like you kind of have Megan, you have Black Phone, Freaky, Happy Death Day. They're all represented, and that's amazing. But then you see a lot of just different characters from The Purge, mostly. At least when I've been through, that's what I noticed. I did want to point out really quick though, there is one scare actor that's been stumping people. It's like this guy, he's in construction kind of gear with a mask over his face, and people just don't know who he is or where he's from. I was one of those people, and I had to look him up, and I did, so I'm here to tell you, so spoiler alert, he's from the movie Forever Purge. I haven't seen that Purge movie, but that's where he's from. So apparently he was a prominent character that people remember who have seen that movie. So if you see the movie, you probably already know. But for those of you who didn't know, like myself, that's where he's from. Like I said, we were on our way to get something to eat, and one of our go-to spots during Halloween Horror Nights is the Leaky Couldron over in Diagon Alley. The food there is always just so good. It's different from what we can get on a regular basis pretty much at any other theme park we've been to. Also, there doesn't seem to be much of a wait. Usually the seating is open seating, mobile order, it's quick, it's delicious, and we just love it. So of course we had to start our evening off with the classic pumpkin juice. I'm telling you, do not sleep on the pumpkin juice. It is absolutely delicious, and during the fall season, it really hits the spot. I kind of went with my go-to this time. I got the bangers of mash. That's roasted English sausage, creamy mashed potatoes, roasted tomatoes, sauteed onions, cabbage, minted peas, and onion gravy. Absolutely delicious. A go-to every time. My partner got an order of the Scotch eggs, which he absolutely loves. If you like a good Scotch egg, this one is actually pretty good. Hard-boiled eggs wrapped in pork sausage, dusted with breadcrumbs and fried, served warm with apple beet salad and mustard sauce. My partner did get something a little bit different this time. He got the shepherd's pastry pie. It's a meatless beef crumbles and vegetable stew hand pie served with creamy stone ground mustard dipping sauce, apple beet salad, and chips. He compared it to the shepherd's pie, but it's just in the pastry form. And he said it was actually very, very delicious. So we'll probably be repeating that sometime in the future. We did get a little bit of dessert this time. We got the sticky toffee pudding and the butterbeer potted cream. Both were absolutely amazing and delicious. Never ever had a bad experience at the Leaky Couldron. New for this year, they decided to take the San Francisco Candy Factory, which is located in the San Francisco area, and they did an overlay to make it Major Sweets Candy Company. It's not like this big, huge, oh my god, they made all this crazy candy and confectionaries for Major Sweets. They do have a small display that they have some candies and stuff that have the Major Sweets logo on it. They do sell a Major Sweets candy jar, and this also you can get like the Little Boo popcorn bucket if you're looking for that. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same candies and confectionaries that they've always had at this location, just with the overlay. They do have a really fun photo op in the one corner, so if you're looking for like an Instagram, Facebook, whatever photo op, definitely stop in there for that. Otherwise, I mean, it's kind of the same stuff you can get any other time, just with the fun little overlay for Halloween Horror Nights. So like I said, we were trying to do more of a deep dive with some of the scare zones this time around. So the other scare zone we kind of took our time in was Tourture Faire. So Tourture Faire, I think we really, really enjoyed this year. We've been rewatching Game of Thrones, and so it kind of correlates with, you know, that kind of time frame. Of course, Tourture Faire, like Game of Thrones, it's gory, it's a lot of like blood and like things like that going on, people being tortured, but you know, for some it's fun and games, and others not so much. But we did, you know, take our time. We really got a chance to really see and look at some of the costumes and the scare actors walking around, some of the kind of props that are set up and how they kind of work and what's going on, like what Tourture Faire item or thing is happening. So that was really, really fun and really, really neat. There was a projection on the ground that my partner pointed out that he kind of said was something else. If you see it, you see it. If you don't worry about it. But otherwise, we do really enjoy this section. The New York section in the past was always very like sparse and felt empty. I'm very, very glad that they've really upped their game in this section. They really have filled it out with just different things, more scare actors, more props, to really utilize the whole area. It's a large area for them to fill. So I'm sure the task is, you know, it's a big challenge, but they really have met it the past couple of years. So hopefully they'll keep that trend going with the future scare zones in this section. So our second house for the evening was the IP Insidious, The Further. Enter the Further as demons try to ensnare you. The red-faced demon will lure you into his lair. Keyface will unlock your fears and more. We did watch the final installation of the Further franchise. We have not seen the other movies, but from what we've been told, or I've been told, is that you don't have to see all of them to get this house, and I think that's for the most part true. Yeah,
because I saw a lot of the movie in this house, even though like you said, we haven't seen the other 4 installments, but we saw the 5th installment, and like you saw the red door. You saw some of the paintings that I think is probably going to be something that goes on with the movie franchise as well. But yeah, it was a good house.
It was a good house. I will have to say, spoiler alert, I mean, I don't think we really need to do that because if you're watching this, you want information. But spoiler alert, if you haven't been to this house and you plan on visiting this house during this Halloween Horror Nights season, it's a tight house. If you're claustrophobic or get claustrophobic, you probably want to skip it. Even if you love the movie, it's a very tight house because there were several rooms and hallways, I guess, that we went through that, I mean, there was barely enough room, I felt, for myself to walk through. And then there was, you know, a scare actor coming out of the wall or a boo hole or something.
Yeah.
It was very, very claustrophobic.
It was tight.
It was well done. I felt like it was very well done from the movie we saw and the references within this house. So if you are a fan of the franchise, you need to do this house.
And I think that's why, like, so I mentioned in the last video with the Triplets of Terror, like, you know, this house took us about 5 minutes and 30 seconds to get through. And so I was asking Mike, I was like, did that house feel like it's the biggest house or the longest house? And that's when we came to the conclusion that it feels like we're being rushed through the houses and you're not getting to see the full effect of the house. So, you know, if people behind you start complaining, whatever, slow down to see the house. You, like, it's one of the things really about Halloween Horror Nights that you should do is slow down and take in the house and enjoy the house. Because if you're pushed through too fast, you're not going to get the whole story. And this one was, you know, we went through it slow. It was claustrophobic. You know, there's a lot of good area in there. Scared the gazor. Like, if you're not a big fan of people throwing up, this one's another one. Spoiler alert, it's because there was a body above us that was throwing up, and it felt like something was on you.
It got me. It got me.
It got me.
And there's the sound, and yeah, it's a good house. It's a good house.
Very good house.
Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this round at Halloween Horror Nights 2024. We're going to be back. We have more houses still to get through. We got more deep dives for scare zones, and maybe I'll just do one video covering the tribute store because there's so much to see and do, the little details. Take your time if you're there, if you decide to make it this year or any other year, because there's just so much work that goes into this event, and it's amazing. We love it. As always, thank you for following along on these little adventures of mine. And as always, I am Mike the Bee. You never know I'm going to be. I'm just going to be. You be too. I'll see you guys later. Bye.